Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television. The Obama administration, if you remember correctly, people like Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and people that are directly responsible, along with Obama himself, the President of the United States, for this cover-up. Remember, this all happened under the watch of Secretary of State, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who will soon be running for the 2016 presidency, who's very likely to win, who will be endorsed by the Obama administration, etc. We're all overseeing this as it happened and lied to you, the American people, when they told you that they were telling you the truth. Now, it's not it's not a surprise that we now know that we're being lied to by our government. Of course, we're being lied to by our government. But remember also that they scapegoated a filmmaker in a film called Innocence of Muslims, saying that was the reason for the anger and the riots that overtook the American embassy that killed 4 Americans, which has turned out to be a lie. That gentleman who was the actual filmmaker, and remember we believe in freedom of speech supposedly here in the United States, is still in jail to this day. Now under false pretenses, which has later come out. Still rots in jail, even though we know now that the Obama administration and people like Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of the State at the time, were lying to us directly. Now remember, Hillary Clinton, dressed in green, there was a reason she chose that color at the hearing, said, why does it matter? Why does it matter why these people decided to go kill 4 innocent Americans on that tragic day? Well, obviously it does matter, because they were running guns from Libya into Syria. The Obama administration, including people like Hillary Clinton, whether or not they knew it or not, and I would suggest that it's very likely they did, because that's her responsibility as CEO, as the Secretary of the State, to oversee this kind of thing, knew about the trafficking of weapons, was helping to orchestrate it, had ordered the CIA and protective forces in Libya at the American embassy to step down so they didn't have to have their hand caught red-handed in the cookie jar. And this all unraveled, and this all caused the death of CIA liaison Christopher Stevens and the 3 other Americans, and is translated into also a bloody, violent civil war in Syria. We see the same weapons that have been trafficked by the Obama administration being used and aimed to shoot down Russian commercial airliners. Remember, we reported on that a week ago. This is helping to oust Bashar al-Assad, who is now living very dangerously, maybe even a little bit vicariously, on a warship off the coast of Syria. That's how much danger his life is in at the moment. So this is why it's such a big deal. This is why you should care about it. This is the cover-up, which the mainstream media is being very elusive about, directly showing you the facts and the evidence that Christopher Stevens was meeting and had arrangements with Abdel Hakim Belhaj, leader of the LIFG, had been trafficking these guns. This is all on record, making these shipments. The fact that the Obama administration covered this story up, scapegoated a film called Innocence of Muslims as the reason for the attack, which is clearly false, but most importantly lied and perjured themselves to the American people. Now remember, Bill Clinton did this, perjured himself, said he did not have sexual relationship with that woman. We saw Richard Nixon in a similar scenario. Now we have President Barack Obama, but what makes this different, what makes this incredibly serious, is it also caused the deaths of 4 people. 4 Americans dead, and is also helping to overthrow independent sovereign governments over in the Middle East, because the U.S. administration has an objective and has a profit motive and incentive to topple these Middle Eastern countries, to control the oil trade and to control our status in the United States' status as the world reserve currency in the form of the petrodollar. This is the same reason that the United States, George W. Bush, invaded Iraq when Saddam Hussein was planning the same move away from the petrodollar, which later helped to bring him and his execution to the forefront, where we have the graphic images of him being hung. So please get this out everywhere you can. This is the cover-up. This is what needs to be investigated by the American public. And it's also what needs to be taken seriously, not just by Democrats, but by Republicans, Libertarians, Independents, and really all Americans and all people around the world. if the government isn't supposed to lie to us, if it's supposed to be a transparent administration, if we're supposed to live in a democracy, if we're supposed to live in a country that has constitutional principles, well then this is clearly a violation of this. This is clearly, what I just described to you is clearly criminal activity at the highest law of the land, at the presidency, at the position of Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, who, by the way, wants to run and is likely to win in the 2016 election. If this is the case, and if this is proven, there should be a stop put to this, and there should be a stop put to this kind of activity. The president very well potentially could be impeached over these accusations if proven to be guilty. Now, I also want to touch on, of course, the Republican Party is no better, in my opinion, personally, than the Democrats, and clearly they're out for blood. Clearly they have their own political incentives and motive. People like Lindsey Graham, people like John McCain, who have been kind of dancing lightly around this issue. John McCain said, you know, hey, we've got to be careful here. We've got to get an independent assembly or body of people to weigh whether or not President Barack Obama should be impeached. Of course they have their own motives, but see, that's part of the problem here in America. Is that the current state of affairs is the Republican Party is no better than the Democratic Party at this point. We have two corrupt political parties really dominated by one party, which the Democratic Party, as we just saw with a really a round of applause for the re-election of President Barack Obama, is really a landslide, shows that the American people are very much for the Obama transition and how President Barack Obama is transitioning our country with things like Obamacare and health care and the radicalization of our banking system. You know, keep in mind, other countries like Iceland have done an incredible job over the past few years handling the banking crisis. In fact, they did the exact opposite of what the United States did. They actually went in and jailed the bankers that ripped off the Icelandic people through the 2008 financial crash and bailed out the people. So they bailed out the people and then threw all the criminals and cronies in jail, the exact opposite of what the United States has done, which is why we're so fervently corrupted at the highest level of power, at the highest law of the land, where the cancer, the stage 4, stage 5 cancer is literally seeped into the bone marrow of the American psyche and the American people. And that is why even a replacement or a successful impeachment of President Barack Obama won't do much good. We'll just have another criminal crony person, another Republican, really not a whole lot different from the Democratic front at this point, one in the same. If you'd like to learn more about this discussion or find more content or videos like these, please check us out. Check me out, Christopher Green, at AMTV Media and greenwave.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Greenwave. Become a fan, like us on Facebook at Greenwave TV, and simply get this video out. Embed it on social media platforms around the internet, popular websites, share it on Tumblr, Reddit, to retweet it, tweet it out to 1 million+ people, and make sure that this is properly investigated by the American people, and by you, and by the people of the world who, in my opinion, are the watchdog of these types of events. And really, we deserve 110% transparency from our officials and our government and our system in a day and age where technology rules the day. And the fact that I can get this video out to you just like that proves that point. I'm Christopher Green. As always, hard-hitting it in your face. Thanks a lot. Get this out everywhere. Peace. Please share this video with as many people as possible and help us get the truth out to the people of the world. We can't sit idle in the face of tyranny and allow these war crimes to continue. Please share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, and all other social media platforms. Follow us on Facebook at Greenwave TV, Twitter at Greenwave, and find more videos like these as well as source material at Greenwave and AMTVmedia.com. As always, I'm Christopher Green, hard-hitting and in your face.